Hey, what's going on? We're going to be drawing an Allosaurus today. Let me write it up here. So that's called the other lizard. This is from the late Jurassic in North America, Africa, Australia, maybe Asia. It's up to about 39 feet. That's 12 meters long, 39 feet. That's about as long as a house. It weighed 1 to 2 tons and lived long before Tyrannosaurus and had longer arms with stronger claws. So, better, I guess. Uh, and so it was able to hold its prey while it tore into it with its teeth serrated like steel knives. Pretty cool. It's going to have some nice flowing lines. There's a little contrast to the drawing, at least. We're going to start kind of under the neck here. Let's see if I can get this positioned right. Yeah, that's good. We're just going to make a sweeping line about here. I think it's just going to go up like that. A little sweep. There's a little sweep at the end, but not as exaggerated as that. Okay. And then we're going to take the top part. We're going to make kind of an egg shape here. It's going to be the basic body of it, maybe a little higher here. How about that? So all these lines are drawn very carefully, softly, lightly, not so carefully. You can. It's better if your pencil's relaxed. It's better if you use it like this. If you hold it like this, rather than the standard pencil way. Okay. So I'm just gonna make a little line there. There I go, changing my grip to the pencil. Okay, those nice soft lines. Now, right about here, we're going to bring a line out here with the point, not so much on the side of the pencil, so it has a tail like that. That's its tail. It's the tail of the Allosaurus. So this line, I'm going to make this line go out a little bit more. I'm going to follow this kind of curve. Just a little bit. Too much, I think. And that's the underside of its neck, correct? And then here, the top. Excuse me. We'll work more on the head later. I want to get the legs started. I'm gonna start the back side of the leg that's going to be in the foreground. Of course, when you draw something from the side, there's always a foreground and a background, and you don't always see the leg. This may be. Let me think about this for a minute. This is going to be our foreleg, the one that's in the front, and then the other one you're going to be able to see because it's going to be in a walking position. So. Excuse me again. I'm going to just start this from here. I'm going to come down to about there. Then I'm going to put the calf in like that. Right? That's maybe too much calf. How about that? Take a minute to catch up. And we're going to find the top of the leg somewhere about here. And we're going to bring this down to the knee. All the way down here. And then there's some elongation there. I'm going to put this is going to be our knee spot. And this heel bone here, we're going to designate by that little circle. These things will be erased eventually. And this kind of wicked looking thing, it's going to have 3 claws. And this top is going to come out like that. We're going to kind of flatten them out. And drop our pencil. Anyway, we're going to flatten them out, and then we're going to put little claws on them, nails. They're claws. I'm pretty sure this guy has claws. little triangles really, the end of that. Okay, and this is going to even go all the way up there like that. And this is actually his foreleg. You're going to see his back leg come out like this because he's kind of running forward, which is what you want to see him do, is like run by you because he's a pretty ferocious beast here. Okay. The next leg is going to be partially invisible, right? It's going to come off this leg. And I'm going to have a heel. The heel's going to, the back of the knee rather. And then we're going to have another heel here. And this one's going to be kind of flat. I'm going to make that a little longer. We're going to elongate this leg because I want to bring it down. So the flattened part is out here. Heel there. You're going to see part of that, maybe two of those pointy claws there. You know, I'm seeing this leg might not be forward enough and may not be heavy enough to support its weight. I'm thinking of the mass of the thing, so I'm going to give it more. I'm going to center that a little more and pull this up maybe. Sorry. Okay, and we'll work on that, smoothing that out a little bit later. So that's our beginning. This one's a little bit thinner, I think, up here. We're going to figure out a way to make that front leg kind of pop forward with some shading. Now we're going to put a shoulder bone there, and we're going to bring this arm down here with a little elbow. That there. We're going to give him some more arms to deal with. Once again, little triangles for his hands. Put this wrist down a little bit lower so his wrists can kind of pop upward. That's pretty good. And the other one, the one we can't see most of, is going to happen here. You're not going to be able to see that joint there, but there is a joint right here for the elbow. And a little bit more elongation there. Here's some claws. It's going to be curved a little bit. Triangles. Triangles. Okay. Now, when looking at this, I can almost see that he's kind of falling forward. There doesn't seem to be much support here in the center, so I'm going to be moving this leg a little bit. Let me see if my timer has gone off. Okay, it's about 8 minutes, so I have up to 15 minutes, so I have time enough to pull this leg up a little bit. And we're just going to erase this whole leg. Start this again, so I'll give you a minute to catch up, or you can stop the video for a minute. So I'm going to pull this leg. It's going to have a bigger, kind of start up here. Oops. Too much angle there, I think. Knee about there. Now it looks like there's more weight there on his body there and forward. See? You get to move some things and how it really works out better that way. So I'm going to kind of come in. And you know all these things, erasable. That's the main thrust of drawing like this. But you don't forget your little triangles, your toenails. These are really just claws. They could be a little bit elongated too. Okay, look it up here. Let's leave that to our warm up. This is kind of a dark brow, but you can do it as light as you want and fix it later. And it's going to have kind of a short snout like this. Just a simple thing. It's going to go kind of, the mouth is going to go all the way in there and come out agape like that. And we're going to have some teeth in there. Pointy teeth. Pointy teeth. Okay. And right there at the end, I'm going to pull this nose up. There's too much of a, it's pretty straight all the way down to the nose, really. We're going to get rid of that part there. Okay. And there's going to be a nostril. A nostril right there. Okay. And a little bit of detail in the eye. You can just kind of put a line, kind of a triangle thing to look like the pupil. Okay. I'm going to erase some of these lines now that we've got that far. We like this shape. We're going to erase this line in here so that leg comes out a little bit more, this heavier part of the leg. You can darken the outlines. Even though you have a pretty good line here, you can darken it. Made it too dark there. It should still keep that shape. My goodness gracious. There we go. Okay. Some shading going on in here to give it some circular feel. Cylindrical feel, conical feel. Conical, like shaped like a cone. Cylindrical, shaped like a cylinder. Okay, you're gonna want him to have a conical feel here, and there's a kind of a musculature marking there, and a few here in these shapes. And this, I'm going to just do a little kind of a wide line here because I'm going to erase in the middle with the very tip of this eraser, and that'll give that. It looks like it has a little bump there. And of course, some lines to make the leg kind of pop out in front of you. But this thing down here in the middle, this is going all the way down here, I think. And these circles that we put in for all of these things have to eventually go away, so remember that. Take your time with this. You can always stop the video at any point, okay? Now each one of these toes has to have some of that cylindrical look too, so you're going to just put some markings in like this along the toes that you have. And if you have to erase, that's just fine. Take your time. And there's some shadow under this one. Lots of shadow. But you're going to have to make this leg a little darker so that those shadows don't get lost. Okay, some of these things that you're trying to erase there, you could leave on as long as you're going to shadow over it, right? There's shadow here. There's shadow underneath its tail up here. All right, there's shadow in this part of the body. Shadow, shadow, shadow. There's a little bit of shadow behind the arm here. Imagine the light coming down from above. Where would the shadows be, right? Looks a lot like a dinosaur. But shading really does something. I am no artist. I just like to teach this stuff because I feel like I'm learning something. There's a little shadow here too, so. And then you're going to shade in the whole thing, really. And make sure these lines don't show up after you shade. So as long as you shaded enough, it'll cover those lines. And you can take as long as you want. We've already gone over the 15-minute mark, so you're going to have to work on this on your own, or we'll put it in the next video. So I'll talk to you later about that.